Alright guys, the game or the draft starts and Fnatic is going up against Quality Control and a very, very fast ban on Zul here by Fnatic. Infernal Shrines is our first map. We are currently in the, I'm pretty sure we're actually in the round of 16 by now already at the tournament here, the Summer Qualifier number 2. And Quality Control has made it pretty far into the tournament. It's a newer team, but with players that you should be pretty familiar with. We're going to go over the lineup later on. For now, let's see how exactly they're going to start that draft into our first map here. Infernal Shrines, of course, a map where you can play with that false set again. We have seen bans on Li Ming very often actually today, which was a bit surprising since in the previous qualifier, Li Ming was more played than banned, to put it that way. Still pretty high priority. We currently have Greymane in this case. He is about to be banned out. Very powerful hero on this map as well because you can get a lot of minion stacks. And Fnatic is very known for playing Greymane and also picking him solo. So, sorry, not solo, but first. So that's the thing that could happen again. Quacknix is playing that hero basically every chance he gets, and that's one of the reasons why Quality Control was looking at a ban here. And also, of course, because with all of that AoE that he has in both forms, he is very nice on the objective as is. But in this case now, Quality Control is banning out Zagara, and Fnatic is saying thank you very much, and picks that Greymane as more or less expected. That puts us in a situation where Quality Control could, for example, think of going into a Li Ming here. But there's a couple of heroes that are very strong. Oftentimes we see at the beginning of the draft a Sonya or a Thrall taken. It's to a certain extent personal preference, but it's also, of course, how you try to combo the hero. Meridian, for example, would work well with both. But yes, there seems to be the Sonya focus over the Thrall potentially. That could lead us into a Meridian pick now as well. Depends a bit on if they want to have their range damage first or if they just say, hey, with Sonya together, we want to make sure that we have Meridian who can go in as well. When it comes to tanks, it's the big three right now. It's ETC, it's Johanna, and it's Meridian. Oh, Falstad. Yeah, my bad actually. For some reason in my head, Falstad was even banned. But yeah, Falstad is in this case still around. As I explained in one of the earlier games, he's very powerful here. You can play him either if your opponent's composition demands it with an auto-attack build, which is still incredibly powerful, or you can go into the Gathering Storm, which allows you to also have a ton of wave clear later on. And if you are positioning yourself nicely when those shrines are finally up and you are trying to fight for the Punisher, you can get incredible pushing power and also damage against the minions to get those minion stacks in. And if you go on level 4, not into Flow Rider, which is very popular in North America, but into the Power Throw, which is still the dominant talent in Europe, then you can also like poke from a distance and your opponent is going to have a very tough time to actually move in against you. So right now, Falstad, great choice. Fnatic with the lockdown on Tacita. And that is something that a lot of teams have really started to do. They don't go automatically into like a single strong solo support anymore, but they actually start with the Tacita and then, if need be, go into a second support. And once that you have Tacita, you have the flexibility that you can basically run this with a Tyrande, with a Brightwing, you can go into even a Charism. There's like so many options how you can suddenly combo the supports off that you can adapt to your opponent's setup a little bit. And Tacita as a pick is also taking Tacita away from Sonya, which is another big deal since she really loves to play a double support style with the Tacita in the mix so that she can get the Life Leech on level 4 with a Leeching Plasma. Fnatic also picking Meridian right now, which is most likely going to result in them also banning out ETC and forcing Quality Control into the Sonya, into the Johanna here. Then again, to be absolutely honest with you, looking at the setup, I don't really feel that Fnatic has to ban out ETC. It's definitely always a good ban. It's one of those safe bans. But I really feel that right now, they can still do it. But there's not necessarily a need to 100% get rid of that ETC setup. I would say with Thrall, it's a little bit more dangerous even because you have that Sundering into the mosh pit. Right now, with Sonya, ETC ban would still make sense, but you are not necessarily forced into it. So other heroes that they could ban out, they could try and get rid of one of the supports, for example. That would really work for them. Range damage, like Li Ming, could be banned out as well. It's actually one of those maps where Li Ming sometimes hasn't even been taken, depending on the setup. But Fnatic is actually going the other way. Instead of banning ETC out, they ban Johanna out. So that more or less forces Quality Control into ETC. Other heroes that they could take is Stitches. If they don't want to play with the Stitches, then ETC is kind of the choice that they have to go for. But yeah, those are the two options that they have right now. Keep in mind they haven't really locked down their support yet. So ETC, Tyrande could be a thing. even though it's not that popular anymore. I mean, it's a sniper comp, right? You're trying to throw the hook out, you get the stun in, and you take it apart, but it's not really one of those things that we see like too often anymore. They need a support, they need another frontliner, and now they really made to make that choice. Do we go into an ETC or do we play the Stitches instead? And against the Greymane, against Tassadar, against Muradin, I'm not really sure if like a Stitches, if Stitches, I would go into a Slam build. Stitches is great actually if you are trying to play that Slam build style, and he can really do a lot of work on the Infernal Shrines. I personally would take Stitches with a Slam build over ETC in this case. I think, of course, that Mosh Pit can be amazing, but they have a Tassadar against them already. If they take him right now, then Fnatic is most likely going to counterpick something as well. And there are a couple of options for them, no matter what happens. So if you go into a tank right now, I would pick Stitches over ETC. But Quality Control could also say, hey, we're going to pick our tank last. We're definitely going to get a good tank no matter what. And we're going to go instead into a bit more range damage. And then we're talking again Lunara, Li Ming. Those would be really strong. And there's Lunara. Alright, so Lunara taken, tank as last. Makes perfect sense. Good choice. And for Fnatic now, of course, it's going to be a second support. They need one. With Greymane, Muradin, I could see the Charism here. Smexy has been playing that quite a bit. I feel that against Tassadar, against Lunara, and also to a certain extent against Falstad, playing Tassadar solo would be a bit tricky. If you want, you can play this, of course, with a Charism or with a Tyrande. Tyrande with a stun combo would be nice. Oh, wow, but double, that's... Yeah, if they pick Stitches, then they would pick it away, I suppose. You can actually play that. I mean, Tassadar in the back. I mean, Charism now taken, okay, with Greymane. As I said, Charism was my first guess. With the Stitches, I'm not sure if I would have not even gone into a Tyrande instead. That actually works, that setup. Double support, double tank, and also one damage dealer with Greymane, but you still have Tassadar for the AoE on the Shrines. Stitches is going to be played with... Like, they think about this now because they would pick a tank away from Quality Control. That's the thought process here. But I would have gone into a Tyrande for a pretty simple reason. I understand why they go into Charism, by the way. If they go into Stitches, they have Muradin, Stitches, and also Greymane at the front. And Charism can get that AoE heal in. But that means that Quality Control is most likely going to go into an ETC. And against an ETC, me personally, I would have loved to get the extra stun in. So then you have Tyrande, who can stun ETC if he goes into the Mosh Pit. And on top of that, you have Stitches hook into Tyrande stun, and Muradin Stormbolt also into Tyrande stun. And that is very, very powerful, and they should have the heal that they need. So there's the ATC as expected. Again, I can totally understand why they went into Charism. Makes sense. Makes them a little bit more vulnerable against the Mosh Pit, though. So, and a little bit less aggressive at the beginning. But Charism is going to get much better heals out than Tyrande. So there's like a pro and a con to the two of them. And they are more comfortable going into Charism here instead. So that can definitely work. But guys, game number 1, starting up right now. Infernal Shrines is the map. Let's jump in. Fnatic going up against Quality Control. Game number 1, everybody, between Fnatic and Quality Control. To the left side of the map, as you can currently see, we are having Breeze on Muradin for Fnatic. We see Quacknix on Greymane and Smexy on Tassadar. Aethera Angel is playing Stitches, and we have Shwimpy on Charism. So talking to the right side of the map, we're having a Quality Control, a team that has a few members that you might recognize. Celium was a former NaVi player in the original lineup. We have him on Lunara. Cypher was playing for Team Acer. I think that was back in the beta and also when the game then got released. He's playing Falstad here. We have the Scape on Sonya, also a pretty known player. Hunzi, aka Glucosa, is playing Rhaegar. And we have Maximus on ETC. So players that have been playing for quite some time, and you can actually like tell right now that these guys are going to be able to make a bit of an impact here. I mean, overall, they've been playing in both of the qualifiers, I think, and as far as I know, they actually got pretty decent results out of that. So we are most likely going to see them in the third qualifier as well, if they don't qualify in qualifier number 2. So right now, already here on Infernal Shrines, our first map, a bit of a fight in the middle. Once again, in the last 2 picks, the first thing that happened here is Fnatic picking Stitches away from their opponents, which forced them into an ETC. And they also decided for the second support to go into Charism over the potential Tyrande that they could have chosen as well. So instead of like Tassadar Tyrande, they play Tassadar plus Monk plus Charism, and that allows them to get a bit more heals at the front line, especially when Quacknix, of course, jumps in and goes into the walk and swamp. We have a rotation happening with 4 heroes between middle and bottom. Already the jump against ETC, and Maximus is dashing out of this one. Job well done. At the top lane, the solo lane for the two teams, we have a Ethereal Angel and Escape currently in position here. And besides that, we're currently seeing down to the bot lane still Quacknix, of course, do this thing. It's one of his favorite heroes to play, actually. And if you look at the talents that we are seeing right now, there's also a bit of an adjustment that we have, especially on the side of Fnatic. Now, first of all, they went with Stitches into the Slam build, which we more or less already expected because, well, they kind of need the damage, and it's incredibly powerful also when they are talking about the objective itself. At that point, we're having already the Iron Fist taken for Karazim, so a little bit of damage monk play is going to happen. I'm really curious to see if Shrimpy is actually going for a hybrid build or if he's going to follow through with Karazim going full damage here. There's like two different builds that you can use with this. If you go into the hybrid build, then on level 7 you would still go for the Echo of Heaven, to give you one example. Even though with that particular setup that we're seeing right now, Cleanse would still be a very strong option, especially against ETC and with his potential mosh pit later on. So there's a couple of cool things happening already in the game that we can talk about then later once that they make these decisions. The first shrine is now at the bottom of the map. Stitcher still following it through with that slam build, and here comes the damage. Overtake for Karazim. He goes for that, and a full, oh nice hook against Cypher here. Well done. Goes, by the way, into the auto attack build on his false stat, so currently taking that. At this point we are seeing also the power slide build for ETC, not really a big surprise. Prog Rock sometimes on level 1 taken, but in this case we still have him on level 1 with rolling like the stone into the double neck guitar. Natural perspective also with a Nimble Wisp, and Fnatic is actually following Sonya and starting to take her down. So Sonya eliminated, they get the Mortar Punisher as well, force the opponent back. Punisher is going to go straight down to the bottom, and Stitch is already claiming the top, trying to make sure that his team is not going to miss out on any experience here. When Ethereal Angel, as already expected, went straight into the Heavy Slam plus the Putrid Gown. So we're going to see a lot of that actually happening. A lot of damage, especially against the minions on the shrines, and that's one of the reasons why they were able to get that first Punisher quite easily. And they get a lot of value out of it as well. They get the entire wall, and they're starting to put damage on the fort itself, which is definitely a huge win for them. Fnatic with a great start into the game, and Quality Control is starting, well, is having a pretty bad start into this. I mean, they're nearly a level behind already, thanks to all the structures that have been taken down. And I feel like especially the damage Karazim took them a bit off guard. So Shrimpy is currently going back to the Nexus, making sure that he gets his mana back up. And Ethereal at the top lane, and so far not really having a tough time against Cypher. As long as he dodges those hammerangs, it's going to be all fine. Auto attack build has, as I already stated a bit earlier, taken, and we're having 8 Seasoned Marksman stacks so far for Falstad. It makes sense to go, like normally I would have said, okay, Gathering Storm might be the build that is maybe a bit better for this setup, but if you look at what Fnatic is playing, we have them not only with 3, potentially 4 frontliners, which is going to make auto attacks great, but they also have 2 very hit point heavy tanks in the form of Muradin and Stitches. So that's why Falstad made the choice then and said, okay, right, listen up, this is going to be an auto attack build for me because, well, there's too many juicy targets and I need to get all that sweet damage in. Level 7, no cleanse taken for Fnatic, so that disrespecting Maximus's mosh pit a bit. You have instead still the way of 100 Fists taken, which is one of the sweetest damage talents for the hero, of course. Already Muradin with his double stun on the Stormbolt. Maximus is low, but so is everyone on the side of Fnatic, and Lunara is doing his very solid work. Celio moves in, they get the kill against Karazim. Shrimpy is down. Quacknix is also about to be eliminated. Gets a shield, but Smexy is dead, and barely Quacknix able to escape this one. Yeah, that was a close call, and that was actually Tassadar sacrificing himself for Greymane. There was a chance for Smexy to get out of this. He could have just shielded himself and moved away, but instead he decided to put that shield on Greymane and kept him alive. Level 7 now with the Nature's Culling. And this is a talent that we have not seen in a few of the previous games, even though it is incredibly strong, especially against the Punishers themselves, but also against these minions. So you do a lot of extra damage against basically everything that's not a hero. And that is a lot. That's the minions, that's the mercenaries, that includes the Punisher itself, and of course also the Shrine minions, which technically are not really... I'm not quite sure what exactly they are called anymore, but it's not minions, something else with M. Kind of forgot about it. Doesn't really matter too much. It's basically cannon fodder. So the cannon fodder up here is also getting the extra damage, and they are taking those down as well. And right now, thanks to those earlier kills, we're actually seeing a pretty sweet solo support for the team in red. But Fnatic is just simply saying, you know what? that Punisher is not going to do much more than maybe go through the top fort. If so, we're going to just jump to the bot lane, going to take a fort as well, get the experience, and try to get the early level 10 so that we can actually defend against that thing. And that might work out for them. They don't have it just yet, but if they burst the wave away in the mid lane, they might be able to get it. They should still lose that fort though, because, well, we already see Quality Control move straight through this one, and here comes the attack against Stitches. Yeah, he's trying to use the Puric Ball disadvantage, but they can't really save him in time. And with the 7-sided strike taken over the palm, there's also no way to go for the panic button here. Both of the teams now on level 10, and actually, we're seeing Quality Control ahead. And Tassadar is potentially going to fall too. Yes, that's another double kill. Fnatic had a sweet start into the game, but right now they are starting to have quite a bit of problems. And that Punisher is still not done, by the way. He's still jumping in, and that is going to cost them the wall. Maybe even a hero, as Breeze is now being attacked, is trying to move away. Mighty Gust has been used, and down goes Muradin. Went for the well. Here comes that hook. Maximus sniped away. Good hook into 7-sided strike. It's a pretty sweet combo. Not really used all that often anymore, but in the case of the double support here, it makes sense. You get a good hook in, you isolate the target, and then Shrimpy can use the 7-sided strike, which he just did. Overall, though, a very, very sweet game already on the side of Quality Control. So yeah, they are coming into this with a bit of a bang. Fnatic had definitely the better start into the first map here, but Quality Control has gained some momentum thanks to that second Punisher they just got. And we are also seeing now a bit of additional pressure in the mid lane, where Quacknix is trying to bring his Greymane into play. They're starting to go straight for a potential kill on the camp though, and that might be contested, but yeah, they move away. Like, it's a good choice. They have still Stitches at the top lane for the experience. Fawcett can fly in. Stitches cannot. Not because he has no wings, but because he's so fat. So yeah, that poor piggy, by the way, that he's riding there. Stitches is currently doing his thing. There's like nothing more, there's nothing more weird in this game than bikini Stitches, I want to say. It's just wrong on so many levels. There's the hook and the devour. But at the bot lane, there's still a bit of fighting going on, but the camp goes straight to Quality Control. They're going to get this one. The scary thing is that they're also going to get the early level 13, and for Fnatic that could become a massive problem because, well, they need that talent if they want to fight for the next shrine. And the shrine fights are going to become more important since that Punisher, of course, scales over time. So right now, it's really important for Fnatic to soak experience somehow. And if they have 2-3 heroes at the top lane, they can maybe burst through that wall and get level 13 themselves. And that will at least close the gap. And that would be important. That's actually exactly what they're trying to do right now. They have 2 heroes up, level 13 is ready for Quality Control, and now we have Fnatic aiming for the same thing with another tower that they're about to burst down. We're seeing already the Mystical Spear taken on the side of Quality Control, plus ETC even going into the Spell Shield. As a solo tank, he wants to stay a bit safer, doesn't go into groupies here, but wants to make sure that even if heroes like Greymane and also Tassadar use their abilities on him, that he's going to be safe there. Unfair advantage after Nature's Culling. Good hook against Maximus. So far, without any consequences though. 5 versus 5 again. Here comes ETC once more, gets healed with an Ancestral, but Breeze is low. Breeze with the Avatar gets another Storm Bolt in. They can't heal him, he's split from the rest of the team. And Tassadar, Smexy, yeah, there was no good way to run. He is going to die, and that puts, again, Fnatic down 1 hero. The numeric advantage for Quality Control, they have 7 kills against 2, and they are starting to really bring the pain. On level 7 for Stitches, we have the last bite. We're seeing Mega Smash now. We have the Unfettered Assault. Muradin went into the Burning Rage, which actually is a great talent for him to take. I mean, yes, he had a few problems so far with his survivability since he was pressured, but they have a double tank and double support, so it shouldn't really be a massive problem for him to go into Burning Rage, and gives him additional damage also then on those shrines for the minions. The big part, of course, is that Monk is currently played more or less as a damage dealer, Harrison, but he still puts healing power out there. That's actually something that we can talk about for a moment. So if you look at Harrison, he has 13,000 heals, which is about the same amount of heal that Tassadar has been able to dish out as well. 13,000 and 14,000, so that isn't too bad. Greymane, by the way, only hero on the side of Fnatic without a death yet. He was able to dish out 61,000 siege damage and 22,000 hero damage. Whereas when we're looking on the opponent's lineup, it's mostly Lunara that is really bringing the numbers here. But in terms of heals, you can already tell that Rhaegar is just outshining both of the supports that we're seeing for Fnatic. He's still great. I mean, even now that he can't really Ancestral himself anymore, he is still pretty fantastic, and that's what he's showcasing right now. So Breeze at this point is in the mid lane. It's all about the experience Soak right now. And Fnatic, I mean, let's be honest here, they are really falling into a downward spiral at this point. 14 versus 15, a level lead, that will translate into the earlier talent. Fnatic has a bit of a problem here. They really need to get they need to get their shit together, let's be honest. Aethero in the middle, and, well, that 16 talent for quality control is going to be a massive, massive lead here. Because, well, they are starting to take camps, they will gain the map control, they could get another Punisher. That Punisher will then also bring them a bit farther ahead into experience, and it's all about that 20. Basically, you're trying to translate these advantages that you have into taking down structures, and taking down a keep is, of course, what you are really aiming for, so that you can have an easier time later on to finish the core. But you can really already see on the minimap how Fnatic is being pushed farther and farther back towards the left side, towards their own core. And we are having a lot of map control that is being run now by Quality Control, and they are looking at a very, very solid synergy now with the level 16 talent on Rhaegar, with the Earthgrass Totem. No escape even on Sonya, not even heading into those Nerves of Steel, but instead trying to go for the chase. We're having also Hammer Time taken for Falstad. We're seeing the attack speed increase for Lunara. And yeah, they are sniping that bot keep right now. It's a very smart choice. They have a level 16 talent advantage, and they're just saying we're going for it right now. But they have to follow through a bit if they really want to get it. Now there comes that mosh pit, and yes, and in this case interrupted, and the 7-sided strike. But they are struggling, and Falstad is actually down. Falstad has been eliminated. Greymane took him apart in the middle, and actually at this point Quatnix is on the hunt. Quatnix is hunting. He's starting to move in, and he wants them. He has his ult already used, but he gets the second kill against Lunara, and the Duck is still on the prowl. Quatnix on the move and goes in for Maximus, or will, and there we have the hook as well. This is going to be a third kill, and that's exactly what Fnatic needed. It's actually a bit surprising to me that Falstad didn't push the bot lane with them. Like, Falstad, if he's there, they can use the Mighty Gust to disengage. So that push against the keep, I like the idea on level 16. But I would have loved it even more if Falstad would have decided to just, like, move in. They're still trying to go for the keep, and I mean, yes, getting the keep... Get over here! Yeah, they're gonna get it, but they're potentially losing 2 heroes. They're gonna get that keep, but they're losing Rhaegar. I'm not quite sure if that's worth it. I actually think it's not. There's again the attempt to go for the escape, and Breeze is already there, and he's saying, like, it's not gonna happen, buddy. You are going to fall for sure. So, yep, there's already 4 heroes on the heels of the escape Sonya. He's gonna fall, wasting some time, of course. They are gonna get him eventually, but yeah, he survives for a bit longer. But that's another kill against them. There's the Stormbolt, there's the kill, and that's 2 heroes dead. We're still seeing during all of this Shrimpy alone on that shrine. Quality Control is... yeah. They're kind of throwing a little bit. It was 7 kills against 2, and now it's 7 kills against 7, because they just got 5 heroes taken down. And on 16, we're seeing now Blinding Speed take and Pulverize. Mega Smash after that. Stone Form here too. And they're already pushing the mid lane. You can't give Fnatic an opportunity like this. Fnatic is going to punish you, and they're going to punish you hard. These are not boys that are just like sitting there and saying like, yeah, alright, we're not going to make you pay for this one. So in this case, Quality Control might just have thrown the game. I like the idea, again, on 16 to 15 to go for that keep. Hell yeah, do it, but do it with Falstad so they have the Mighty Gust. Shrimpy is moving away right now, jumping out there. Yeah, but that Punisher is still on the move, and they got a lot of experience. Look at that level lead now. A level ahead after they were so far behind. And yeah, boys, I mean, that Quality Control got a bit too cocky there. They thought themselves in a superior position, and they were, but not that great. If Falstad flies down and uses the Gust, once that the battle turns against them, they can just disengage. But as is, they got more or less wiped at the bottom, and then they were still trying to go for the keep, which they got, by the way. Like, they got the keep, so that isn't too bad. At least that happened. Still, 31,000 damage, 33,000 on the side of Lunara. Yeah, the Duck. Where do we have Quatnix? Alright, Quatnix is a bit low in mana. Oh, good hook! Very good hook, but a good Gust as well. It's one of the panic buttons that you have in your arsenal. I mean, you have, of course, also then the heal on Rhaegar, the Ancestral. Then again, if you look at the cooldown, it's currently still in 40 seconds, but still. So Mighty Gust is in a pretty sweet spot there. But yeah, the Duck is on the prowl once more. Quacknix is a monster on Greymane, let's face it. I mean, there's a reason why Fnatic is usually trying to pick Greymane first, and why so many teams have started to ban out Greymane against them. He's playing that hero whenever they get a chance, and for very, very good reason. He is just way too good. So right now, we are seeing Quacknix and Shrimpy going for a camp here. Shrimpy with the self-sustain that he still gets thanks to the heals. And I mean, Charism, of course, is like more about the damage right now, more about being annoying, but still. He himself can still put a few healing numbers on the board, and that kind of helps. For now, though, mid lane is being attacked, and Fnatic is trying to collapse on that. They have level 20 in their reach, but they don't have it yet. And that's the reason why we're seeing Quality Control being so aggressive. They're saying, guys, let's make a play while they are not 20. We need to make something up before they're 20. And that's what they're trying here. If they can get the gap closed, that would be great. The hook misses. Athero does not get a target with his stitches. But we have level 20 now ready for Fnatic, and that leaves us with a Hunter's Blunderbuss, with a Storm Shield on Tassadar. And yeah, Transgression most likely going to be the talent on the side of Charism. Would be a bit surprised if we don't get that. Muradin with a Hardened Shield over the potential rewind, just showing also how much Breeze respects the damage on an uh-oh, no face checkerino! Oh! No, there comes Tassadar, but also, again, the mosh pit. Athero is nearly dead. Ancestral Healing is hitting Celium, but Breeze and Shrimpy are already on the prowl. They're going in, they get the kill. Maximus is also about to die. Transgression is not taken, by the way. Instead, we're having Epiphany taken in this case right now. Maximus is down. It's a quad kill. Nobody on Fnatic died. They face-checked the bush with Smexy on his Tassadar, but nobody died, and now they are trying to follow this through right into the middle. Epiphany has been taken. That's also a bit crazy. So they're going for the max movement here. Not only do you get the mana recharge, but the radiant dashes that you get refilled. That's crazy. That's so much mobility and chase potential that you have on that. Fnatic is trying to end the game here. Only the escape against them. There, he's of course trying to buy time by making them chase him, but I don't think it's going to make a difference anymore. The escape jumps in. If one Storm Ball hits him, then it's lights out. And Athera Angel alone can already slow him at this point. But just look at these damage numbers. 0 deaths on Quacknix. We have 51. There's the kill against Escape, and this is going to be game. Well played. Great play here by Fnatic. Quality Control was ahead, but the turnaround by Fnatic as they claim victory on Infernal Shrines. The first map in this best-of-3 series here at the Summer Qualifier number 2. Game number 2, everybody, on Sky Temple. Fnatic finds himself in the lead against Quality Control in our second game here, and Zagara is banned out. So already Quality Control banning out one of the best bot laners, and Fnatic is countering that with a Zul ban, as it seems. So two of the heroes that have solid siege damage and can easily take a solo lane, which more or less leaves Thrall as one of the preferred bot laners, I want to say. I mean, you can of course also put Falster down to the bottom of the map. That can give you quite a bit of control over how the first few temples are going to be fought over, since Falster can fly into the middle quite easily, so that's one of the things that happens. But yeah. Let's see what happens with the... Oh, wow, again a Sonya first pick. So Sonya actually is being picked immediately, and Fnatic can now counter with the Falstad and the Greymane if they want to have both of them. Again, Greymane is a hero that they play a ton, and in this case, they prefer Muradin though. So Breeze gets his Muradin, Sonya against them, Falstad is being taken over already, and that of course gives not only good mobility on the map, but also the opportunity now to go into auto-attack build, depending on what Quality Control uses as heroes, or simply go for a little bit more sniperinos. For Quality Control, the last game was a bit iffy. I mean, they were actually ahead and then they fell behind. Right now, with Greymane plus Tassadar being picked for them, it's a very solid setup that they are using here, where they can use Tassadar as a support for Sonya and also the Worgen for Greymane, and they can also add another support in there, which they probably will, to make sure that they can really keep both of them alive. So it's very likely that we're going to see on their part a solo tank, plus then a second support, which could be even a Falstad, considering that we are, a Brightwing, considering that we have a Falstad in the map if you want to go for mobility. We've seen that already a little bit earlier, Tassadar plus Brightwing. Could still, of course, also go in that to that Tyrande. We have seen the option with Tassadar plus Charism. Fnatic played that even with Iron Fist on level 1 and the full damage build. And Fnatic is switching between that ETC and Johanna ban again. And of course it makes sense. I mean, they have Muradin. And it's, again, the question, how much do you respect that mosh pit? In the last game, it didn't really have the biggest impact. I mean, we had like 1 or 2 mosh pits that were pretty decent, but there was nothing that really forced Fnatic down. And especially when that one trap was set against them, they were even able to survive, and they eliminated everybody. So they went for an entire team wipe with that scenario, and that led then also to them winning the game finally. Or, well, it was at least that last fight that we saw there. It was more or less a desperation attempt by Quality Control to turn it around. And Johanna is banned out. So for Quality Control, that leaves us now in a position where they have to think about, okay, what do we pick for the front line? It's not surprising to see a Thrall ban here. We have seen that a lot, actually, that if one of the teams picks a Sonya and you don't immediately counter-pick a Thrall, that he's banned out, or vice versa. Fnatic still has, of course, a few options when we're talking about range damage. Li Ming is still around, has actually been played very rarely here today. And we have, again, a support that they also desperately need. Like on this map in particular, I know that we've seen Fnatic sometimes even with like the Vikings or thinking about them. I don't really feel that the Sky Temple we're going to see them, but it's one of those things where you always feel like we could actually. Shrimpy had also at the Europe Regional Finals a lot to say about the Vikings overall, so I could have actually seen them at some point try to go into a Viking play, but I doubt that they're going to use it on Sky Temple, even though this is one of the maps where Team Liquid, for example, a few weeks back have played the Vikings, but still. Karazim is more like the solid choice here, first of all, as when it comes to supports. Fnatic, when it comes to damage, again, we have like 3 big names right now. Lunara, Li Ming, and also Vala could be played. And Li Ming seems to be chosen. Vala would, of course, give you that single target focus, which can be really nice. Is easily jumped, though, also by Greymane, which is, of course, oftentimes a bit of a problem. But if she goes into the hybrid build, she gives you also control with the Frost Shot. But Li Ming has insane damage output. And if you get a target stunned, and Li Ming can follow up with everything that she can bring to the table, that is, of course, insane damage. I'm a bit curious to see who's going to play her. Usually I would say, okay, it's going to be Shrimpy, and Shrimpy actually has spoken out quite often against Calamity and the teleport build, so in this case we won't mostly see a focus on the missiles. So that's one of the things that I'm wondering right now, a bit who's going to play her and what kind of build we're going to see for her. For Quality Control, an ETC could be the option. Again, Stitches is an alternative that you can use. If they go Stitches, and I feel like a Tyrande as a second support would actually be a very nice choice, since you have, again, that lockdown attempt. If you're seeing an ETC, on the other hand, you could still play it with a Tyrande, slide in, get the stun, later on maybe even the mosh pit, so that would work for you too. But, yeah, could work for them. Second support is likely against this, I'd say. Falstad has decent damage, and of course, like if there's only a Tassadar solo support, then Fnatic can even react to that by picking a bit more damage and going into a more AoE-based build to try and burst these shields down at the beginning of the fight and make Tassadar's life as a solo support a little bit harder. So for Quality Control, this is actually like, oh, and Arthur's. Yeah, we have seen Arthur's actually a bit more. NaVi played him a couple of times, and Dignitas, I think, played him once too. And there we go, Arthur's plus Tyrande. I like that even more. Stitches Tyrande, ETC Tyrande would have been nice, but Arthur's has a bit of hit point pool, has a lot of survivability himself as well, and Tyrande can follow up that Howling Blast with an additional stun, so I don't mind that too much. Is Fnatic, yes, they play their Murky. They played Murky on Sky Temple already, and now with them play Murky, we have actually Falstad in the mix as well. They went for a really like complete split push the entire time when they played Murky together with Zagara. They now don't have that option, but they can still use Falstad to fly on the opposite side of the map and push there. So this is like one of those games where Thero Angel is going to play Murky and he's going to be annoying as hell. And we also don't have a cleanse for Quality Control. That's another thing to really point out here. Tassadar and Tyrande can't use a cleanse. So in this case, Octograb is going to be amazing for them. This is actually like a pretty cool thing that Fnatic still holds strong when it comes to Murky. They played him before the regional finals. We've seen him there, but right now we have him for the first time after that. I'm excited for this one. This is going to be awesome, guys. Let's jump in. Fnatic versus Quality Control on Sky Temple with Murky. Time for Murky, ladies and gentlemen. Breeze is playing Muradin for Fnatic. Quacknix is on Falstad. Smexy on Karazim. Shrimpy on Li Ming. But of course, we're all talking about Thero Angel. He's playing Murky again. They played it before on this map and it worked wonders. Now they are doing it once more. And to the right side of the map, we have their opponent. Down one game in the best of 3 series here at the Summer Qualifier. Quality Control with Celium on Tassadar, Cypher on Greymane, Hunzi, aka Glucosa, on Tyrande, the Scape on Sonya, and we are seeing Maximus on Arthurs. and this is gonna be good. First of all, we have block taken on Murky on level 1. Already preparing for the next patch. That PTR is, of course, not live yet, but we are going to see that hit, and block is going to be buffed over there. Missing at the same time now, Shot of Fury taken for Sonya as a level 1 talent. We're having for Arthur's Regeneration Master. Li Ming went already into Power Hungry here with the ability power, so the Regeneration Globes are going to be quite important for her. And Shrimpy has expressed several times that he's not really a fan of the teleport build, and I want to see if that has changed. Haven't spoken to him in a bit about it, but he was always a huge, very much not in favor of going into, for example, Calamity. Right now we're seeing Season Marksman taken again. Good job by Quacknix, by the way, staying alive here. He was already aware that someone was missing on the map, and he wanted to make sure that he's not the one being locked down. Arthur's, of course, can be a bit of a pain, especially if there's a Tyrande to follow his Howling Blast up with an additional stun. So it's more or less the same game that you're trying to play with the Muradin. You're trying to move in and lock someone down and take them apart. This time we're seeing on level 1 the heal taken for Karazim, of course. I mean, Transcendence makes sense if you only have one support. In this case, we're not seeing the double support setup anymore. We're having down to the bottom of the map, still a bit of pressure happening here, but of course it's all going to be in the middle and the top when those two temples are spawning, and that's the case right now. Aethera Angel is now making his way down to the bottom of the map. He's most likely going to try and just like push that in. And it's one of the things that Fnatic did a lot. Like, they play Murky usually solo on lane for a long time, and he has only one objective, like his job is to push. In teamfights later on, he can move in with an Octograb, especially since there's no cleanse available to the opponent. With the Tazada and Tyrande support, you just don't have that option, so that lockdown is more or less guaranteed. But a big problem is for Team Quality Control is going to be that we will see Murky just like trying to push as much as he can. And if you have a false set on the opponent's team, he can of course attempt to just do the exact same thing on the other end of the map, and the mobility that it gives you can be incredibly annoying. Right now, we have actually a fight over the second temple. The top one isn't even contested. Falset is starting to move in against Sonya and is starting to actually push her back as well. But over here, it seems that for now, Quality Control is winning the first few shots there. We have Oz level 4 talent, the bigger slime already taken. Maximus, oh, Breeze missing the Stormbolt here. Maximus trying to get away, gets body blocked, but the lockdown against Breeze forces him to jump out with a Dwarf Toss, and Cypher is now starting to move in too with his Worgen and attempts to go for Smexy. There's still Murky, who is attempting to get experience for his team, but they are starting to fall slightly behind. We have on Tyrande the full cooldown reduction build with Empower and Pierce now taken. And at the top lane, Sonya is still getting even more shots for Quality Control. In the last game, the team in red was getting ahead, but then kind of threw a little bit when they got too greedy. And that is, of course, something that they have to make sure it doesn't happen to them this time. At the top lane, on the other hand, they're already starting to play a very aggressive game here. And the lockdown against Arthas is catering to that. Quacknix wants the kill, but decides to move back since he realizes that he's moving in a bit too far. Down to the bottom of the map, we are seeing already that Greymane went away from the attempt to go for the last few temple shots, and Murky is going in again to try and just counter-soak as much as he can, rotating between middle and top the entire time. Triumvirate has been taken on level 4 now for Shrimpy's Li Ming, and we kind of expected him, of course, to go for something like this, so the cooldown reduction is going to be a thing. His positioning so far is pretty sweet to get the extra damage in against the waves. And talking damage against waves, we have also a full cocktail build thus far for Greymane. And Greymane is still playing against Cypher down here. Level 7 talents. Cypher is played by... Greymane is played by Cypher, and Aethera Angel is the one that he's facing. Sonya even going down at the top lane, apparently locked. Cilium healed by Hunzi. But yeah, this is a very aggressive setup that we have at the top. But you can already tell that right now with Smexy rotating into the middle, now moving to the bot, we're actually seeing Fnatic taking a slight lead in experience. It's actually not that slight, to be honest, if I look at it again. We're having them nearly a level ahead, and, well, after the bigger slime on the level 4 talent, we have now the slime advantage taken too. And down to the top, we're still seeing, like, everything here was burst away. Structures, that's of course, like, the most important part. If you play on Sky Temple, you want to take structures down. You want to get an easier time for your damage, or for the damage that gets bursted out from those temples. Level 7, Cleanse has been taken, alright. Cleanse against the Howling Blast, against the lockdown attempts that we're seeing here. It's going to be an important one. And we have Seeker already for Shrimpy. So he is holding strong with his philosophy. He doesn't like Calamity. He doesn't like the teleport build. He goes for now, still for the damage with the Triumvirate, with the Arcane Orb here. And we're seeing at the same time him also going into the Seeker. He wants to just like burst targets away, and that's something that this build allows him quite nicely if you get the perfect shots off. And at the top lane, we have still, Ethereal Angel doing his thing against these waves, and he is being a pain. The Scape is doing whatever he can, but Murky is doing what Murky does, pissing people off. So we're having him at the top lane against the Scape, who has a very tough time to actually leave this lane right now against Murky, which means that the bot lane is going to be more or less forced into a 4 versus 4. Make that a 4 versus 3, because Greymane has been captured as the rest of the team was aiming for the Siege Giants. But the Temple is now live, and look at this experience bar. That's nearly level 10 for them. And with that, they're going to hit the heroic ability, and there's absolutely no way that Quality Control is going to try and even contest that. Octograb has been taken, as mentioned before. That's going to be a problem, since there's no cleanse. And we also have, at the same time, the Palm. We're seeing the Mighty Gust, plus Avatar, plus Disintegrate. Great talent choices here, of course, for Fnatic, and they're looking strong with this. Ethereal moves in. Where's the Octograb? Is he going to try go for it? Maximus is low. He's going to fall either way. Don't have to waste your heroic for this one. Already Falstad flying in, and he wants Tyrande, and they are going to get here one way or another. Ethereal Angel could go for... He doesn't have to go for Octograb, to be absolutely honest with you. There she goes, double kill against them, level 11 versus level 9.5. A bit of a pressure play at the bot lane where Smexy is escaping, but Muradin is already on the heels of Celium with his Tassadar and is forcing him back too, as the top lane is going straight for the structures, and they're going to get an easy kill on the tower, and they will also get, of course, that fort. Level 10 is finally ready. And with that, we have the Army of the Dead for Arthas. Wrath of the Berserker has now been taken. Shadowstalk, go for the throat for Greymane. Plus, we're having on the side of Tassadar the Force Lord. And apparently, they're trying again to go for Maximus. Where's the Octograb? There's the Octograb. And he's getting lasered away. Even with the army that he used, he can't save himself. And that's, of course, another... This is like a huge cooldown that he just used. I mean, he kind of, I guess, should have seen the Octograb coming. But of course you want to keep yourself alive, and if you are somehow able to just get these ghouls in before the Octograb hits, and then right after, you might be able to escape. But now not only is he dead, well, he comes back in a few, but we have him with still 70 seconds on his heroic ability, and that's of course a disaster. Fnatic right now is playing a great game. They seem to have some problems. They're pausing the game. We have, by the way, Quarknix, who actually paused the match now. Apparently has some microphone issues. As far as I know, like the other day, his microphone completely didn't really get destroyed, but stopped working, and he played a little bit with his webcam microphone, I think. I'm not quite sure if that's still an issue or if they fixed it. Seems like it's all good again, but we have him currently on a season marksman with 15 extra damage. Breeze now on the way down to the bottom. But of course the situation for Fnatic here is fantastic. They are on level 12, nearly 13. That's an extra talent for them any second. And we should actually see that happen in time for the temples. Yeah, that is already. Relentless. We're seeing already the bubble machine taken. Murky died a couple of times, nothing too crazy. Giant Killer already taken on 13. And I suppose that at this point, Muradin, I mean, actually, he can go into the Burning Rage. He can go into Thunderclap damage if he wants to. It doesn't really matter too much. We're seeing them moving in as is against Tyrande once more. Hunzi could be taken out. Octograb is ready. They don't need it for Tyrande, but they could use it. Yeah, and there it is for Arthas. Octograb and the resets for Li Ming. Second killing. And that's exactly what they need. They can't even go for boss now. Breeze is already on the move. The temples have been announced, but of course they aren't active yet. Breeze gets even stunned. There's the extra damage on the Thunderclap. And hello, Glass Cannon. Even more damage for Shrimpy because, well, 16,000 is not enough. Falstad is still in the lead. Shrimpy can't have that. And that's why he goes into the extra damage already. So right now, he actually, in terms of damage, we're, oh my god, like look at the damage output on the side of Quality Control. 10,000 as the max damage on Sonya. 10k. That is crazy. Like, that's just double of what the support for Fnatic has. We have 19k, double the amount on Falstad, who's now taking the 20,000, and there's another kill against Sonya. 8 kills against 0. Murky is completely wrecking them there. Look at that siege damage, by the way. 67,000, and now compared to Greymane, who's one of the best siege damage dealers in that game so far. That is unbelievable. Really nice plays here by Fnatic. That first game was very, very close. Cypher is attempting... Yeah, they found him, but I don't really feel like they're going to try and chase him. Or are they? Well, they could. Shadowstalk has been used. Cypher is on the run. Run, Forest! Run! Well... yeah, he can try and jump around a little bit, but he's not going to make... Well, actually, like, now he might make it, because nobody really followed that up anymore. He's trapped behind enemy lines. They are gonna get him. Yes, they do. He's B-stepping for a moment, but yeah, that doesn't camouflage him or anything. Level 16 now versus level 13, a 3-level lead, and I mean, guys, this is brutal. We have now, after the bubble machine, the safety bubble, the rejuvenating bubble being used, and the mirror ball as well. Mirror ball and Seeker triumphrating glass cannon, max damage on Li Ming, and they have another Octograb ready. If you have no cleanse again, Breeze missed that Stormbolt, but they get the kill anyways. If you don't have an a cleanse against an Octograb, then you know that you are in trouble, and that's exactly what's happening here. So right now we're seeing Hammer rank taken again on 16 with Hammer time. There's even more stuns. There's so much control right now. And Breeze with his stone form. First of all, nice jump here, using the invulnerable frames on his Dwarf Toss. That helps. And the only thing that really keeps Arthas maybe a little bit more alive right now is that he has finally Relentless, and that helps him against the stuns and also, of course, against all these lockdown abilities that we see for Fnatic. But overall, that's the 3.5 level lead that Fnatic has been able to play out, so they are looking at a fantastic spot. They have control over the entire map. They took the boss earlier. They started to take the towers down at all of those walls. They're seeing them taking the camps. There's just no way to fight. There's an attempt to finally move in, but this is desperation what we're seeing from Quality Control right now. They're really desperate to make something happen. Look in the backline, where Octograb has been used again. Yeah, Tyrande is in trouble. Arthas is using the Army of the Dead already. And Murky is still not done. Aethero wants that Tyrande, doesn't he? They go for the escape right now. Yes, Tyrande is attacked again, and she's gonna fall. Aethero Angel slaps her down. That slime advantage is just a bit too strong right now, and the escape is sacrificing himself for the greater good. Well, I'm not quite sure if that good is going to be too great, because let's be honest here, that looks very much like Maximus is going to fall too. That's going to be another reset for Li Ming, and it's a triple kill. 13 kills against 0. And they start to move to the bottom of the map. The reckoning is at hand, ladies and gentlemen. This is Armageddon, at least when we are looking at it from the point of view of Quality Control. Quality Geddon, if you so want, Kappa. And yeah, Keep is down. The Temple's not even used for that. They get the tower as well. The more structures you kill, the better. Well, they actually had the last hit here for that minion, so at least he feels useful. But this is brutal. I mean, this is really brutal. 13 kills against 0. Wow. And, like, the thing is, they only killed Murky 3 times. Murky died 3 times in this game. And Aethero is now up at the top, riding the money picking style, by the way. I want to highlight the color coordination. I really appreciate it. And the money pick, of course, is always a good mount. If you're riding a money pick, you're always a winner. You are always a winner. No matter how the game ends, if you're riding the money pick, the win is yours. Right now, another temple is being fought over, and it's a 4-level lead that we have. Wow, this is crazy. I mean, like most of my quick matches I've done don't end with a 4-level lead. Fnatic is playing an amazing game. Like, they really, really outpick their opponents. That Murky pick last, I mean, it sounds silly, but nobody saw that coming. And if you don't even have a cleanse, as I said before, you are just going to get destroyed no matter what happens. That cleanse is missing, and they can just simply go for it. 3 people are chasing Murky, more or less. Murky's moving in again. It's bubble time. Maximus is trying to go for the Howling Blast. Over here, look at that. Already the extra attacks against Sypho. Greymane is being hunted by Murky. That's how far this game has come. This is where we're at right now. Greymane gets hunted by Murky. There's Maximus. They're trying to go for it again. Everybody's just on the run. It's a 4-level lead, and it gets worse. I mean, that's just going to be the first kill, most likely. Celium doesn't even know where to go. There's enemies everywhere. There's the laser once again. Shrimpy is just like dashing it out, gets the damage in, and Sonya is actually the first victim in this particular fight. Aethero Angel sees Celium. Oh, wow. Well, that is something that he could have interrupted, but yeah. Either way, another temple is going to be theirs, and this is getting crazy. I mean, this is getting completely out of hand. Top keep is down, bottom keep has been destroyed. That mid keep doesn't look too sexy either. This is going to fall eventually as well. Murky is already on his way, and yeah, Murky's actually dancing around the core at this point and forces them back. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, they have to do something, and there's 2 heroes trying to take Murky down. Aethero Angel is just running around in the opponent's base. He's just like saying la 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 la. He's just riding on his piggy, and he feels happy. And that forced actually heroes back, which allowed more map control, as if they needed it, for Fnatic to take even more camps on the map. So, yeah. Right now, let's see quickly what we're having as the level 16 talents. There's a Shadow Stalk attempt. They're trying to get kills while there's that 20 is ready. 20 is, I was just about to say, while 20 is there. Murky is already going for the keep, by the way, in the middle now. 20 talents with the Epic Mount, double rewind for Murky and for Muradin. And we are having also the Temporal Flux taken. This is desperation. This is really desperation. This is like, guys, we don't know what to do. We are 4 levels behind, we're talent behind, like we have to do something. Let's go boss, and well, they're saying might as well. Yeah, but it's of course not gonna work, and how could it? The core is already getting attacked by camps. Here comes that Octo grab, Murky dead, but Arthas is already down, and they are on the chase against Escape and Hunzi. Smexy palms himself, that's what monks do. Down goes Tyrande, and this is going to be elimination. Again, the reset. Shrimpy jumps in, drops the next target there, going for Sypho. That's the end of Greymane. And as we already said, I mean, the keep is being attacked, the core is under pressure. Murky is just making his way over, and this is going to be the end of it. We are seeing Fnatic advance with a 2-0 victory against Quality Control to the next round of the tournament, to the round of 8. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, and this is Murky, the bane of existence of Quality Control here in Sky Temple. GG, well played, and Fnatic with a 2-0 victory against Quality Control. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is GG and the end of another series here on Khaldor TV with Heroes of the Storm. So once again, we have another video finished, and I hope that you enjoyed the commentary and that you liked the game, of course, as well. It was a pleasure casting the match for you. And if you guys really enjoyed it, then make sure that you give that video a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do that too. If you have friends that are interested in Heroes of the Sports esports scene, then definitely recommend the channel to them, or just show them the video if they want to see like a bit how the pros are drafting here, especially of course when it comes to the North American scene, European scene. And I mean, these days we even have a couple of Chinese games on the channel here, so I hope that you enjoy that as well. That being said, thank you very much for watching again. I'm going to see you guys next time with more Heroes of the Storm content here on the channel. Have a great day and enjoy your week, and see you soon. Bye bye.